What's going on, Ethan?
Hello.
How are you?
Good.
Excellent.
It's Friday.
That's what I've heard.
I'm just letting my moisturizer dry.
Yeah, do what you gotta do.
With this new Zoom rooms, you get to really see everything. So I have to be.
What's fun is there's actually a mode on the camera if you go into video settings that can do touch up my appearance.
Ooh.
Yeah, I may or may not have used that before.
It may just replace me with somebody else.
You can pick who it is. It's like we were joking on the podcast yesterday that when we describe ourselves for the listeners, I say, think of Channing Tatum, something like that. So that's general.
Hey everybody,
generally,
can you hear me?
Nope, can't hear you.
Oh, headphones.
I'm kidding. That was a joke. I can hear you. It's just a bad Zoom joke.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we got you.
Okay, sorry, I just didn't have my headphones in, which are pretty helpful. Art, do you want me to should I keep on our championship hat, or is that too?
If that makes you feel, if that you think it's intimidating or will help us in any way, sure.
I have my my runner-up hat and over here from 2011. So that's usually, people think I'm really cool at the grocery store when I have a runner-up hat. They don't.
Spoiler alert, they don't. That's probably one of my favorite ongoing memes is the announcer voice from Arrested Development. People use
the Ron Howard thing.
But it wasn't.
Exactly. All right, I'll get the buzzer up momentarily. You guys can dial into your party lines to have your conferring. If you so choose, we did this one match yesterday. If you just want to use Zoom to confer for steals, you're more than welcome to, because the other team would have already gotten the question wrong. But that is completely up to you guys, depending on, I know fewer and fewer people have house lines. So using your phone for the buzzer and then trying to figure out another dial-in can be difficult. So whatever you guys choose to do, we are A-okay with. All right, game code is 306. Again, the buzzer is tpt.mykaplan.tv, tpt.mykaplan, MYKAPLAN.TV. We'll do a round of mic checks and buzzer checks momentarily. We had a match yesterday come down to the final question for the win. So a buzzer beater. You're muted, Ethan, if you were.
I said thrilling.
Thrilling.
The buzzer?
Down to the buzzer. Final question.
Wow.
Yeah, it was 81-73, and the team with 73 got the 10-point question right to win 83-81.
Some people have had better luck with the buzzer on the smartphones. But it's really a preference for you. Okay.
Heather, you're unmuted here in Zoom if you're
telling state secrets.
Yeah. Just letting you know you don't want to give any strategy away.
Telling me to use my phone for my buzzer. I'm getting all technological.
Okay.
Yeah, the phone does allow for just using Zoom on your computer. You don't have to sort of toggle between two windows, but obviously you can minimize or shrink where you need to. I will be sharing screen momentarily for the buzzer, so Ethan can see it. Hopefully starting Monday, the host will also log into the buzzer so they can see it there rather than sharing screen here. But I'm working towards some solutions therein.
Are you using our phone line? I'm dialed in, but I don't think anyone else is.
Art has two headsets going, so
I'm dialing in now. Yeah.
Melanie, you want to give me a
Which
test?
one are we, Ethan?
We are knowledge admissions, the blue team.
Okay, I was red or blue.
Melanie, can you give me a test buzz?
What?
A test buzz. Hit the buzzer for me. Thank you. Ethan, when you are ready, test buzz. You're a funny guy. Art. Okay. As everybody else logs into the buzzer, give it a test buzz.
What was the code again? Sorry.
The code is 306. 306. And I might as well share my screen now. You can also see. So if Zoom happens to go to full screen on your machine, you can just hit escape and it'll escape out of full screen mode on the screen share. For those of you using Zoom for the first time, on a PC, Control A is the hotkey for your microphone to mute and unmute. And on a Mac, it's Shift Command A. And that's just another way to mute and unmute. Obviously, when you buzz in and Mr. Sterling calls on you, you'll need to unmute and answer. So just an FYI there. Heather, can I get a test buzz? Thank you. Stephanie? Thank you. Dom? And Dom, I don't currently see you on camera. I don't know if that is on purpose or not, but we will need you on camera for the game. And Liz, please. Thank you.
I don't know why my camera is not working. Oh, wait. Is that, there we go.
There you are. So just so everybody knows as well, if you're coming to Zoom from a Hangout, Zoom sometimes will default not use your camera because it's open in a Hangout still. So if you ever notice that your camera is not working, just make sure other video chats and or FaceTime or whatever is not open on your machine. Trivial operations. Do you have a fourth coming? Red team.
We do. She's having some technical issues. She's trying to get into the room.
Okay. Let me know if she's getting any sort of error message or if it's just hanging. It may be installing the software for her, so it may take a couple extra seconds.
Okay.
I have a fifth coming at 5 o'clock. It's a booze joke.
Yeah. Yep. My response was going to be, why wait that long? But I thought that was a little aggressive. So
it is Friday. Let's get casual. These are really boring team names. Not a lot of thought went into that. I'm disappointed. Like the next match has one of my favorite team names, which is Mikasu Marzu as Sukasa Marzu, which is not only a pun based on an MCAT passage about a rotted Sardinian cheese, but is a really good team name. I would have expected like Smooth Operators or something from Trivial Operations. That would have been. I could have been singing a little Sade before the match. Would have been better. Anyway, all I'm saying is I'm disappointed. In the end, I'll put out a ranking of everybody's team names, and these are not going to be high on my list.
We're actually going to do a separate bracket based on team names.
Yeah. I'm getting no defense from them either.
So Heather, she's still having problems?
I'm waiting for a response from her.
Okay. So she can join whenever. We will try to kick off as close to 12:05 as possible. We can wait a couple extra minutes as it is the first time through and people are logging into Zoom for the first time. But if she happens to join at 12:10, she can just jump right in and join the game in progress.
Okay.
Did we lose Heather from the buzzer?
That might just be a caching issue, Heather. If you're on your mobile device, a word of caution, you want to try to keep the phone from going to sleep mode because it will sort of kick you out. Once you refresh the page, it will cache you right back in. But obviously, as you're buzzing in during, you don't want it to fall asleep and then try to open and buzz. That will probably not function properly.
Okay. Good to know.
So if you want to give a test buzz whenever, Heather, just to make sure it's working, we can do so. There are 11 people watching the stream, so get pumped, guys.
Okay.
Hold on one second. I think this is you, Ethan, because it didn't happen in any of Bob's matches.
It could be.
All right, hold on one second, folks. This probably won't work anymore. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna have to give you a new buzzer code anyway. So, Heather, you don't need to figure out the.
Okay.
Just my luck. We actually have some pretty good categories today. I was less excited about the categories, although having to talk like a pirate on Wednesday did make my brief afternoon. But today's categories, I like them a little bit better.
It made my afternoon, that's for sure.
Yar.
All right, 928. 928 is the new buzzer code. And Ermin is taking a look at why it just crashed. So hopefully. The trackpad on my laptop has stopped working properly. So anytime I type, it thinks I'm trying to move the mouse, which is fantastic.
I had an issue with my last computer where the shift key would just kind of fire whenever it felt like it. Oh, great.
Hold 1 second.
I can't get into the buzzer at all now.
Yeah, that's it. Crashed again. Give me 1 second. Seeing if Ermin can hop into the Zoom room.
Yeah, the shift key issue just made it look like I was like sending kidnapper ransom notes to everybody when I was trying to type.
That's awesome.
Every other letter would.
It's like the SpongeBob meme now.
Yeah. So, if anybody received like a ransom note from me during the mid to late 2017 time period, it was on accident.
They should have paid though.
You know what's weird though is if I unplugged my computer and turned it upside down and shook it for like 2 seconds, it would fix it.
That is weird.
Yeah.
Dan, did you say the new code is 928?
It's the buzzer crashed again, so it's going to be a second.
Okay.
So that's why it's not working for anybody. Give me 2 minutes here. I'm going to mute here and get on a call with Ermin and see what's going on.
Week 1 of TPT. I forgot what my song on Wednesday was. Something about the buzzer. Anyway.
Do you want to do a quick rules rundown, Ethan, while try to figure this out?
Sure. That sounds wonderful. So while we're getting the buzzer squared away, and seeing as it is week 1, I'll walk you all through what you need to know, because most of the rules are the same, and I know many of you are veterans of the TPT game, some previous champions among the mix here today. So we will we'll talk about some of the things that you need to know. We'll talk about some of the new rules, make sure everybody is thumbs up on everything that's going on, and then hopefully we'll have our buzzer back in time to get started up. But welcome back and welcome to a new year of TPT. I'm Ethan, not the other Ethan who's playing today, but other Ethan. It always gets confusing whenever I see Ethan here at TPT. But nonetheless, this should be a lot of fun. As you all know, we are pulling a number of Jeopardy-style questions that we'll go through. There are 2 rounds. So the first round has 6 categories with 5 questions per category. Those questions are worth an ascending number of points per question and generally an ascending level of difficulty. But points values would be 1 through 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the second round, again, 6 categories, 5 questions per category with increasing point values of 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Now, reminder, you are both provided the points if you answer correctly, but you are also penalized for any questions that you answer incorrectly. So we will take away points in the case of an incorrect guess or an incorrect answer. In that case as well, remember that there is the opportunity for the other team to steal. And in that case, we'll throw it over to the other team's captain, let you all spend about 5 to 10 seconds to discuss. And then I'll ask you to come on off of mute and on microphone to let me know whether or not you want to answer the question or pass. And I believe our captains, if you can give me a thumbs up, Heather and Ethan today. Cool. So just be aware that you're gonna have a little bit more mic on and off duty as we see the opportunities for steals as we go through today's questions, right? Another important note about ringing in throughout the categories, a new rule instituted last year, and this is an important one, so use your listening ears. You're not kindergartners. The maximum number of times that you can ring in per category is 2, okay? So if you have answered 2 questions, correctly or incorrectly in a given category, you cannot buzz in again or you will be penalized for your errant buzz. What I recommend is once you have buzzed in twice within a category, just put your hands up like this so it's a reminder to both me and you that you cannot buzz in during that next, the rest of the items in that given category. Of course, you're back in once the next category begins. And there is some strategy there. You may want to save some of your best players for those final questions, or not. We'll see what happens. Just trying to give some advice. After we go through the first round, a new thing this year is that we'll have a crowdsourced Kaplan crowdsourced potpourri round, where we'll have 5 questions that have been written by your colleagues here at Kaplan. Quick note on those questions, they're each worth 3 points. So there's no ascending level of point values during that. I'll remind you of that once we get there at the end of the first round, but an important note there, that we will have those 5 additional questions in between the 2 rounds as part of our halftime show. There'll be no Justin Timberlake, sadly. Finally, one of the other things to remember is occasionally there will be a question that we will encounter that from the items that we pulled that was unable to be brought into this medium because of video or images or whatever else. In those cases, we may need to step away from a given category for a surprise substitution. And then we will have a single question for that surprise substitution. Again, that surprise substitution still counts towards your total number of 2 times ringing in a category. And also a reminder, when we're throwing it to the captains on steals, that does not count towards that team's total. So you're still able to ring in. So that's a lot of different rules and a lot of things to remind you all of. Hopefully we'll figure that out between now and the later rounds. But before we do another buzzer check, and it looks like it's game code 15, my eyes don't deceive me. Before we do another buzzer check, if you can all just give me another thumbs up about like where in the screen area to let me know you're good with the rules, or feel free to come off mute and ask me any questions you might have about the gameplay. See lots of thumbs. Hey, turn that thumb back up, Art. I don't like it. Thank you. Oh, it looks like Emily's here now. Hi, Emily.
Sorry, what is the game code for the buzzer?
15.
15.
015 or just?
No, just 15.
Okay.
It's doing the same freeze out thing for me.
Dom, can you give me a test buzz?
Apparently I cannot.
Awesome. This is very heartening right now. Give me, oh, I was very delayed. Dom, can you try? There it is. This game has ended. Fantastic. I did not end it. Technology. Nope. All right, give this one more go. 718, which is probably many of your area code if you live in New York City.
I don't. you're ever looking for a very interesting Wikipedia article, read about the North American numbering plan. It's quite interesting how area codes got their numbers.
Steph. All right, let's try this one more time. Melanie. Steph, again, please. Or no, not Ermin. Emily. Heather. Ethan. Art. Liz. Dom, are you in there yet? 718? Not yet. We're wasting all the good buzzes.
Right. Get it going before the buzzer starts.
All right. We should be in business. I'll keep an eye on it. Obviously, if anything comes up, I will let you guys know. But from here, I'm going to mute and give way to Ethan.
Awesome. And thanks for being patient with us as we get this figured out in the first week. Of course, if you do run into any issues with the buzzer, please come off mute and let us know. If you see something, say something, as the phrase goes. But we do want to get started up so that we can keep things going. But before we do, let's just do a quick stretch, shake off the buzzer fingers, get ready for the first round of questions. We're going to go through these. We'll have some fun with it. I trust that you all now have your questions answered. I'm excited. Like I said, these are better categories than I saw on Wednesday. So let's see what we can do. Very first category we're going to see today is atolls. And I didn't just call you a bad name. You're not a bunch of atolls. These are about the small groups of islands, atolls. Okay. Let's get ready for, let's warm up on our very first question, get our fingers ready for the 1-point question in atolls. Perhaps the only world capital you've never been asked about before is Funafuti, an atoll in this ocean. It's Tuvalu's capital. Perhaps the only world capital you've never been asked about before is Funafuti, an atoll in this ocean. It's Tuvalu's capital. 5 seconds. Time. See, we didn't even need the buzzer anyway. The correct is we're looking for the ocean where Tuvalu is, and that is the Pacific Ocean. So again, get the nerves out. Let's get some points. We got a 2-point question in atolls. Hands on your buzzers. 2 points. In its local version, the name of this festive island is spelled Kirimati. In its local version, the name of this festive island is spelled Ethan.
Christmas Island.
Christmas Island is correct for the first points of the game. 2 points for the blue team. Little play on Christmas, but Kirimati is the name of Christmas Island. Nice job for 2 points. 3-point question coming up. From April to August of 1958, the US conducted 22 of these on Eniwetok Atoll to get them in before art.
Like a nuclear test? Nuclear test?
Nuclear tests is correct before a ban took effect. Nice job for 3 points. Nuclear tests on Eniwetok Atoll. It's hard to say. 4-point question in atolls. In the 1930s, transoceanic air routes starting from Midway Island used tiny Wake Atoll as a perfect fuel base to complete the 2,800-mile trip to this U.S. island territory. Steph.
I was going to say Guam, but I feel really unconfident now. So, Guam, but who knows?
Guam is correct for 4 points.
There you go.
And appreciate the insight into your brain. But Guam is correct. Are you on mute? You might want to go on mute.
I'm sorry.
5-point question. 5-point question in atoll. So we got a close game, 4-5. Good first category. 5-point question. Here we go. Bring me the head of this atoll, largest in the Chagos Archipelago, where the U.S. has a naval facility. Ethan.
Diego Garcia.
Diego Garcia is correct for 5 points. It was a triple stumper on the show. I thought we'd get a triple stump here, but nice job, Ethan. Diego Garcia was a mistranslation of its original name on the map. There was no one named Diego Garcia. It was named after. Fun fact. So nice job. After one category, the score is knowledge admissions, 10 points, the blue team, 4 points for trivial operations. And Dan, if you're around, you know a lot about the economics of Oceania, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yes. Go on.
Do you know what the number two highest profit grossing business is on the Pacific island of Tuvalu?
I would say it has to be Pokemon card trading.
It is not Pokemon card trading. It's a good guess. They actually lease out their country level, top level domain, and people purchase it. And do you know what that is? It's .tv. So our buzzer system is actually secretly supporting the government of Tuvalu.
Fantastic.
2015. More you know. Hooray. Second category. We're going to keep going. This one might be a little less geography and a little more conversation. Cable Guys. Cable Guys is category number 2. I'm going to give you an actor and their role, and you tell me the TV show on cable where I would find that actor and role. We'll see how this works. 1 point question coming up in Cable Guys. Kevin Dillon as Johnny Drama, Vincent Chase's older brother. Liz.
Entourage?
Entourage is correct for 1 point. You ID'd the correct show. 2 point question in Cable Guys, hands on buzzers. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers as King Henry VIII. Jonathan Rhys-Meyers as King Henry VIII. Dom.
The Tudors?
The Tudors is correct for 2 points. Nice job. You know your cable. 3 point question coming up. Mark Feuerstein as Hank Lawson, a doctor who makes mansion calls in the Hamptons. Ethan.
Royal Pains.
Royal Pains is correct for 3 points. That's another triple stumper from the category, but I appreciate your knowledge of some deep trivia there. 4 point question coming up. Fingers on buzzers. Bryan Cranston as chemistry teacher turned drug art.
Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad is correct for 4 points. A little highly rated as a question for 4 points, but nice job, Breaking Bad. And 5 point question in our category, Cable Guys. Alexander Skarsgård as Eric Northman, an old Ethan.
True Blood.
True Blood is correct. Good old Alexander Skarsgård. And all the Skarsgårds, there's lots of them running around. After 2 categories, the score is knowledge admissions 25, trivial operations 4. Still a lot of questions yet to be decided here. Our third category, to get us to the halfway point in round number 1, is annually observed. Annually observed, about important dates and holidays. Let's see how you do. Hands on buzzers for the 1 point question. April 29th is Emperor's Day in this Asian country. April 29th is Emperor's Day in this Asian country. 5 seconds. Melanie.
Japan?
I couldn't hear you. One more time.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Japan?
Japan is correct for 1 point. Nice job, Melanie. Japan is correct. April 29th, also my grandfather's birthday, just turned 87. I used to take in donuts on his birthday when I was a kid because my birthday was in the summer. So always special. Poor summer birthdays. 2 point question in annually observed. 2 point question. Hands on buzzers. In England, the anniversary of this queen's birthday is observed on a Saturday following May 24th. In England, the anniversary of this queen's birthday is observed on a Saturday following May 24th. Melanie.
Victoria?
Victoria is correct. Also celebrated in Canada as May 2-4 weekend, as they see up there. Eh? I think that's 2 for you. Hands off buzzers. Good. 3 point question in annually observed. Hands on buzzers. Except for Melanie. A Hallmark card for these professionals day. Ethan.
Well, I buzzed too soon accidentally, but I'm going to guess it's secretaries based on what you said so far.
Secretary's Day is incorrect. I do appreciate the guess, though, on the errant buzz. We'll take away some points, and I'll throw this over to the other team, to Heather et al. Let me read it for you one more time, and then, Heather, you can take a little bit and let me know. A Hallmark card for these professionals' day, near Mother's Day, refers to their patient-giving ways.
Do any of us answer? Oh, teachers. It was like yesterday or 2 days ago.
I need an answer from Heather.
Oh, sorry. I didn't know how it worked.
All right, Heather, if you want to come off mute and let us know.
We're going to go with Nurses Day.
Nurses Day is correct for 3 points. Nice job on the steal. Way to go. Yeah, Nurses Day. So our NCLEX team was very happy that you got that question correct. 4-point question coming up in holiday, annually observed. 4 points. Celebrated in Asia in the fall, Diwali is an annual festival of lights of this religion. Celebrated, Ethan.
Hinduism.
Hinduism is correct. And as well, you are banned from any further questions. There's only one more question left. Just don't buzz it. Our final question in annually observed for 5 points. Hands on buzzers. This August 15th feast day commemorates the Virgin Mary's ascension to heaven. Art.
I went to Catholic high school. The Feast of the Assumption.
The Assumption is correct. Also still a major holiday in France. It gave me a 3-day weekend on my 21st birthday. That is 3 categories. We have 3 categories more to go, but the score is 31-10. So a good match. Trivial Operations has a little ground to catch up with, but again, only halfway through the first round. Our next category is chess pieces. Chess pieces. Questions about pieces you'd find on a chessboard. We know those. Hands on buzzers for the 1-point question. This is the chess piece that there are the most of. Dom.
Pawn.
Pawn is correct for 1 point. Nice job on the fast buzzing. 2-point question in chess pieces. These are the 2 chess pieces of which each side only has 1. These, Dom.
The king and queen.
The king and queen is correct. And now your hands are off the buzzer, Dom. Correct for 2 points. The king and the queen, right? Just one for each side. 3-point question, chess pieces, hands on buzzers. This is the piece that shares its name with a job in the Catholic Church. Art.
Bishop.
You're really getting a lot out of that Catholic education. Nice job for 3 points. 4-point question. 4-point question in chess pieces. There are only so many chess pieces, right? The one that shares its name with a crow relative. Melanie.
The rook.
The rook is correct for 4 points. That was a tougher one. Nice work. 4 points. Nice job, Melanie. And the 5-point question in chess pieces. Hands on buzzers. This is the only piece in the back that can start a game. The only piece in Melanie.
The knight.
The knight is correct. Can jump over all those other ones and get right out there in the front. Nice job for 5 points. Way to go, red team, to get a little bit caught up there. Score is 37-19 at the end of our 4th category of 6 in our first round. Our 5th category is going to test your history skills. Depends on how many of you were alive in this year, but the year that we're going to be discussing is the year 1970. 1970. Probably not. Question number 1 in the good old year of 1970 for 1 point, hands on buzzers. In May, a rally at this Ohio university turned tragic when Emily.
I probably buzzed too soon because I don't know exactly what the question is, but Kent State?
Kent State is correct for 1 point. Kent State is all I needed from you.
I live 5 minutes from that campus, so there you go.
Everybody's bringing something of their local knowledge or educational background to today's game. But Kent State, I think, wasn't Dan just singing a song the other day? All right, 2 point question. 2 point question in 1970. Let's see what else we can learn. For 2 points. Gary Trudeau's Bull Tales was renamed this and began appearing in some Ethan.
Doonesbury.
Doonesbury is correct. I didn't think I'd get too far into that one. But Gary Trudeau's Bull Tales was renamed this and began appearing in some 24 newspapers in 1970. Doonesbury is correct. 3 point question. 3 points. 1970. Legislation signed on April 1st, 1970, no joke, banned ads for these on TV. Melanie.
Cigarettes.
Cigarettes is correct for 3 points. Way to buzz in on that one. Cigarettes, yeah, banned April 1st, 1970 for television. All right, our 4 point question now coming up, and it's a surprise substitution, which means we've got the dancing taco. Surprise substitution, surprise substitution. I don't know Bob's song, but I have a dancing taco. That makes up for it. Our surprise substitution, we're going to jump out of 1970 for a second, go into our time machine, and jump into another category for one question only. Let's see what the category is. This is still worth 4 points. All of the rules still apply. Our category, and maybe this is a good one, is Hello Cleveland. Hello Cleveland. Sticking with some Ohio-based questions today. And I've got a 4 point question here for you in Hello Cleveland. So hands on buzzers. John D. Rockefeller co-founded this company in Cleveland in 1870. Dom.
Standard Oil.
Standard Oil is correct. That's the Cleveland-based company. Nice job for the 4 points and our surprise substitution, a la dancing taco. We'll jump back into 1970 for our final question. And for 5 points, here's that question from the year 1970. Hands on buzzers. In November 1970, a memorial service was held at Notre Dame for this former French president who died at 79. In November, Ethan.
Charles de Gaulle.
Charles de Gaulle is correct for 5 points. There's a whole airport named after him. If you're ever wondering why you're flying into CDG, it's our good friend Charles de Gaulle. All right, nice job. At the end of 5 categories, the score is 48-23. Lots of great answers. Not a lot of stumpers so far, but we will see as we continue with our last category of round 1. And that category is I Know You Are. I know you are. And the hint that I'll give you here is that you are is in quotation marks, meaning that every single one of the responses here will start with the letters you are. You are. All right. Let's see what we get. 1 point question in I know you are. Adjective, meaning calling for prompt action. Adjective, Liz.
Urge.
That's incorrect. I have to take away a point from you. I will throw it over to Ethan and the other team. The clue I'll read for you one more time.
I'm on Liz's team. This is on my team, so this is for the other team.
Thank you. Sorry. I got my people mixed up. Heather, I'll throw it over to you. I'll read it for you one more time. Adjective meaning calling for prompt action.
Urgent.
Urgent is correct for 1 point in the steal. We needed an adjective. Great work, other team. Yeah, that's what happens in a steal. 1 point back to the red team and 1 point away from the blue team. All right, 2 point question. 2 point question. Let's try to get those points back. And I know you are. Bear-like. Dom.
Ursine.
Ursine is correct. Just like Ursa Major, Ursine for 2 points. Nice work, Dom. Get those points back. 3 point question. 3 point question in I know you are. It is a heavy grayish element. Dom.
Uranium.
Not my anium, Yes, uranium is correct for, didn't even make sense, for 3 points. Nice job, Dom. Your hands are off the buzzer. 4-point question. I know you are. Shorthand for an internet address. Ethan.
URL.
URL is correct. I know you are. And lastly, our 5-point question, and I know you are. Hands on buzzers. A chemical compound of the group NHCOO. You're probably familiar with the poly form. Melanie.
Urethane?
Urethane is correct for 5 points. Polyurethane, NHCOO. Nice job on the 5-point question. Continues to be a close game. Still with a little round to catch up, but that 5 points definitely helped. The score is 56-29 at the end of round 1. But remember, point values are doubled in the next round. And so we'll see what the final score can be. Now, remember, though, we do have a halftime show for you today, which involves our Kaplan crowdsourced, with a K, potpourri. I will be asking you now 5 questions, each worth 3 points. And these have been submitted by your colleagues. And we'll see how many of those points you can get here before we jump into round 2. I'll go through them just like I did before, one at a time. And let's start with the first question from the crowd. Question number 1 for 3 points. Of the top 5 websites based on global traffic, only this site is owned by a nonprofit. Of the top, Dom.
Wikipedia.
Wikipedia is correct for 3 points for the blue team. Second question from our crowdsourced potpourri. Hands on buzzers, 3 points. These 2 former late night talk show hosts were also writers in 1974 for Good Times, the TV show. These 2 former late night talk show hosts were also writers in 1974 for Good Times, the TV show. 5 seconds. Time. I thought this might be a stumper, but it's probably who you would have guessed if you could have guessed. Jay Leno and David Letterman. Jay Leno and David Letterman were both writers in 1974 and the 70s, really coming up today. All right, 3-point question again. Another crowdsourced one. Hands on buzzers. Aretha Franklin sang Think in a Diner in this 1980 hit movie. Emily.
Blues Brothers.
Blues Brothers is correct for 3 points. Nice job, Trivial Operations. That's 3 points for you. Another question, 3 points. Hands on buzzers. The English word for this fruit and its color had its first recorded use in 1512. Ethan.
Orange.
Orange is correct for 3 points. Nice job. And our last crowdsourced potpourri question, also for 3 points, hands on buzzers. Dolores O'Riordan, recently passed away. Dolores O'Riordan had this early 20th century armed insurrection in her head while writing the 1994 hit Zombie. Ethan.
The Easter Rebellion.
The Easter Rebellion, or the Easter Rising, is correct for 3 points. Nice job. 4 out of 5 of those from you. Thank you to Peter Kerr, Katie Acton, Bill Keevan, Edwina Lee, and Aaron Grogan for those questions today. Remember that you too at home and you two playing today can submit more questions that we will feature during upcoming TPT matches. That's my commercial for it. All right, let's get back into it with round 2. Score is 65-32. And we've got 30 more questions. Again, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10 points here in round 2 for our totals. So be prepared. A lot of points up at stake. Before we begin, again, quick stretch. Get yourself ready. Deep breath. Our last category, if you remember, before the halftime was I Know You Are. Our new category for our second round is But What Am I? But What Am I? Questions today about the eyeballs. But what am I? With EYE. First question for 1 point, though, is another surprise substitution. Surprise substitution. We'll have to wait to get to our I category for just a minute with a 1 point question, or sorry, 2 points, because we're in round 2. 2 point question that's going to be from a different category, and then we'll get back to it. Our 2 point question, though, comes from the category. I lost my category. Let me find it. Comes from the category Monarchs. Monarchs, the Royals. All right. Hands on buzzers for this 2-point question from our surprise substitution in Monarchs. From 1513 to 1972, only men named Christian and Frederick alternated as rulers of this nation. From 1513 to 1972, only men named Christian and Frederick alternated as rulers of this nation. Melanie.
Denmark.
Denmark is correct. Nice job picking your correct Scandinavian-based area country for Christian. That is correct for 2 points. Finally, in 1972, Queen Margrethe, I don't know how to pronounce her name, she took over, but don't be worried. The heir presumptive after her is also named Christian or Frederick. I don't know, remember which. All right. Danish royals, that's all I got. But what am I? So back to our questions about eyeballs. 4-point question, hands on buzzers. Let's talk about the eye. Hands on buzzers. The sclera covers 5/6 of the eyeball, and this about 1/6. Don't get this other part scratched. The sclera, Don.
Cornea?
The cornea is correct. You don't want to scratch your cornea.
I think it's pronounced sclera.
The sclera. Sclera.
Yeah.
I just kind of blurred through it, but thank you. 4 points for the blue team there. 6-point question. 6-point question coming up in But What Am I? Hands on buzzers. This makes up the innermost layer of the wall of the eyeball and has 120 million rods and 6 million cones. Ethan. The retina is where all those rods and cones are. Nice job for 6 points. 8-point question. 8 points coming up in But What Am I? The more melanin and the closer it is to the surface, the darker the color of this 4-letter I part. Liz.
Iris.
The iris is correct. I was hoping it'd be Melanie because it was melanin, but it wasn't. Anyway, still nice job with the 4 points. And a 5-point question in But So Am I, or But What Am I? Tears are constantly produced from glands above the eye, pass across the eyeball, and flow out through these 2 ducts that open at the inner corner. Melanie.
I buzzed too early. I don't have the word. I'm sorry.
All right. We will take away the 10 points and we will throw it over to the blue team.
We're just going to confer on here because we're not on the phone line. And
I'll read it for you one more time, though, before you confer. Tears are constantly produced from the glands above the eye, pass across the eyeball, and flow out through these 2 ducts that are open at the inner corner of each eye. Go ahead.
So we're conferring.
Yeah.
I think it's the lacrimal ducts.
Yeah, that sounds right to me, Liz. Does that sound good to you? Okay, we're going to go with lacrimal ducts.
Lacrimal ducts is correct for 10 points. Good internal crowdsourcing there from the blue team. And a big steal with 10 points going away from the red team and over to the blue team. And that concludes our category on the eyeball, brought to you by Kaplan's OAT programs. Sign up now. All right, our next category. Where we are. Art school, not about Art Morelli, but about art school. So we'll see what comes up here. 2-point question begins in art school for us. 2 points, hands on buzzers. The School of Fontainebleau is named for one of these built by Francis I in the 1530s. Emily.
A mansion? Like a, no?
I'll accept it. A chateau, a mansion, a palace, a chateau. It's not a fountain for sure. We'll give you the 2 points for a mansion, a chateau. Nice job for 2 points. 4-point question. 4-point question in art school. First Steps is by Joseph Israels of this country's traditionalist Hague school. First Steps by Joseph Israels of this country, Ethan.
The Netherlands.
The Netherlands is correct. We had Denmark, we've had the Netherlands, we had Tuvalu, we've had a lot of crazy places. 6-point question. 6-point question in art school. Questions not about Art Morelli. The Stroganoff School in Russia specialized in these exquisite artworks for private devotions? The Stroganov School in Russia specialized in these exquisite artworks for private devotions. 5 seconds. Time. They're called icons. Icons. Really good book, Ruska by Edward Rutherford, if you ever want to learn all about the development of icons in the early days of Russia. All right, 8-point question in art school. Hands up buzzers. While part of the Avignon School, Simone Martini met this poet and painted a portrait of his beloved Laura. While part of the Avignon School, Simone Martini met this poet and painted a portrait of his beloved Laura. 5 seconds. Time. It's Petrarch. Petrarch was the poet of the Avignon School. 10-point question, 10 points. So big point question here, big points, art school. Hands on buzzers. The school named for this big city began in the 1940s and mutated into abstract expressionism, pop art, etc. The school named for this big city began in the 1940s and mutated into abstract expressionism, pop art, etc. 5 seconds. Art.
New York?
New York City is correct. Nice job for the 10 points. See, Art, you knew about art. It all worked out. Sort of. You put it together. Some good context clues. I see what's going on. All right, that's the second category of our second round, and the score is 107-26. Trivia operations. You better turn it up to 11 for these last 4 categories, but you still got enough points that you can make it up. Our next category is amphibians. Amphibians. So I know you're excited for that. Our 2-point question in our category on those good old amphibians. Hands on buzzers. A South American toad displays its orange feet to predators to let them know it's this. Dom.
Poisonous?
Poisonous, right? A South American toad displays its orange feet to predators to let them know it's poisonous. Nice job for 2 points. 4-point question on amphibians. It's a fun word to say. In salamanders, let me start over. In salamanders named for a lack of these internal organs, a tiny pulmonary artery runs in the body wall. In salamanders named for a lack, Art.
Lungs?
Lungs is correct. Instead of a tiny pulmonary artery that runs through the body wall. Nice job for 4 points. Make sure to go back on mute. 6-point question in amphibians. A South African frog favors the arum type rather than the water type of this plant. A South African frog favors the arum type. Ethan.
Lily, like a lily pad.
A lily is correct for 6 points. Good job on it. Rather than the water type, they like a good dry lily pad. 8-point question coming up in amphibians. 8 points. Many caecilians have these in their skin like snakes, which they resemble, but unlike most other amphibians. Many caecilians have these in their skin like snakes, which they resemble, but unlike Ethan.
Scales.
Scales is correct for 8 points. They have scales on their skin. Scaly amphibians. Nice job keeping your hands off the buzzer for the 10-point question. 10 points in amphibians. 4-letter word for a salamander that leans toward the land side of amphibianness. Liz.
Newt.
A newt, not just a Gingrich, but also a 4-letter word for a slimy, a salamander that leans toward the land side of amphibianness. Nice job. All right, well, we're halfway through the second round. 15 more questions to go. Let's keep it moving with, it's not easy being tween. It's not easy being tween, Tween. questions about tweens. Let's see what's going on for 2 points. 2 points in tweens. Hands on buzzers. Tweens can spend hours on this 140 character at one time maximum website. Emily.
Twitter.
Twitter is correct for 2 points.
That's out of date. You can have more characters now.
I said that it has changed. I was reading that as you interrupted me with the answer. Tweens spend their time on Twitter. I was going to also tell you it was a 10-person startup called Obvious. All right, 4-point question. 4-point question. Yeah, it's clear the buzzer. 4-point question coming up. And it's not easy being tween. From the Latin for adulthood, this process generally starts for girls between 10 and 12. Steph.
Oh no, I feel, again, may have buzzed too quickly. It's going to say adolescence, but like, could it be puberty? I was a Latin minor and now I have a lot of doubt, but I think adolescence.
Adolescence is incorrect. I'm going to take away 4 points for that answer. We will throw it over to the other team. Let me read it for you one more time before you answer. From the Latin for adulthood, this process generally starts for girls between 10 and 12 and boys from 12 to 14.
Yeah, I think we should go with puberty.
Yep.
Puberty.
Puberty is correct for the steal. Throw 4 points over to the blue team. Puberty begins between 10 and 12 in girls and 12 to 14 in boys, generally. I was a late bloomer. Don't tell anybody. All right, 6-point question. 6-point question. Tweens watching this young man's video, Baby, on YouTube, helped it to Liz.
Justin Bieber.
Justin Bieber is correct. You can't have a category about tweens without Justin Bieber involved, right? It's got to show up somewhere. All right. We've got the next question is, hey, Dan, can you mute Bob? We've got the 8-point question in tweens. Here we go. Alliterative 2-word term for the action of a tween's social group to make him or her conform. Alliterative, Ethan.
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure is the alliterative 2-word term. Nice job for 8 points. And 10-point question. Your tween is reading works in this movement, like Camus' Caligula. That's both impressive. Dom.
Existentialism.
Existentialism is the correct movement. Nice job for 10 points. It's a big category for the blue team, pulling ahead 165 to 24. 2 categories left to go. Our penultimate category is lovable quotes. Lovable quotes, a category about quotes about love. Aw. Let's go with the 2-point question in lovable quotes. Around 1387, this poet wisely noted, "In love, there is but little rest." Around 1387, this poet wisely noted, "In love, there is but little rest." 5 seconds. Time, 1387, not a lot of poets to choose from. Chaucer was the correct poet we were looking for. Chaucer is the 2-point answer. All right, 4-point question in lovable quotes. Hands on buzzers. Love is strong as death. Jealousy is cruel as the grave is from this biblical songbook. Love is strong as death. Dom.
Psalms.
That is incorrect. We'll take away 4 points from the blue team and I'll throw it over to the red team and Heather. Let me read it for you one more time. Love is strong as death. Jealousy is cruel as the grave is from this biblical song book. Heather, what do we think? If you can come off mute and give me an answer, Heather, on whether to go or pass.
Is it Songs of Solomon?
Songs of Solomon, or the Song of Solomon, is correct for the steal for 4 points. Nice job. Let's keep moving. We got a 6-point question in lovable quotes. Let's see what other quotes we encounter. In A Woman of No Importance, he wrote, "One should always be in love. That is why one should never marry." Depressing. In A Woman of No Importance, he wrote, "One should always be in love. That is why one should never marry." 5 seconds. Time.
Can I answer?
You can answer, Bob.
Oscar Wilde.
It sounds like Oscar Wilde, right? Like one should always be in love. That's why one should never marry. Very Oscar Wildean. Love it. 8-point question. 8-point question in lovable quotes. Hands on buzzers. A little late. This Shakespearean character describes himself as one that loved not wisely, but too well. Melanie.
Isn't that Romeo?
Romeo is incorrect. Take away the 8 points on that question. Throw it over to the blue team. A little late. This Shakespearean character describes himself as one that loved not wisely, but too well.
And any ideas?
I guess Othello, maybe? It sounds vaguely familiar, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think we'll just pass on this one.
All right, we'll pass on it. But Dom, it was Othello, the other most tragic of our Shakespearean characters. Anyway, nothing ventured. We'll move it along to the 10-point question. The 10-point question in lovable quotes. Hands on buzzers. Thomas Fuller observed that love and pride stock this British mental hospital. Thomas Fuller observed that love, Ethan.
Bedlam.
Bedlam is correct. Now, how many British mental hospitals will we be asking about? Nice job for the 10 points on the last question of lovable quotes. Score is 171-20, and we have one category left. It's going to be hard to make up that deficit, red team, but let's still have some fun. Anyway, our last category is L 8-letter words. So we've got words that begin with L that are all 8 letters long. Okay, L 8-letter words. Start with a 2-point question in L 8-letter words. Hands on buzzers. It's said that there are 3 things that matter in real estate. This, and this. Melanie.
Location, location.
Location, location, location is the 8-letter L word we're looking for. Nice job for 2 points. 4-point question in L 8-letter words. There was once a clue in our place about this type of poem, not mace. Short and quick, art.
Limerick.
A limerick is correct. There once was a clue in our place about this type of poem, not mace. Short and quick, a nifty old trick. But then we ran out of... That was the end of it. Anyway. 6-point question in L 8-letter words. Hands on buzzers. One honored for achieving distinction in a certain field. Poet is one type. Steph.
Laureate.
A laureate is correct for 6 points. That's the L and 8-letter word. 8-point question. Hands on buzzers. The This and Lymphoma Society is a charity fighting art.
Leukemia.
Leukemia, and they're not a charity fighting art. They're charity fighting blood cancers. Make that clear. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society is a charity fighting these blood cancers. All right, 10-point question, last question. Hands on buzzers. To contest in court or to carry on a lawsuit? To contest in court, Dom?
Litigate.
And that question was brought to you by Kaplan's LSAT programs. Enroll today. Nice job for the last 10 points there. A lot of correct answers. Not very many questions y'all missed. That's really impressive, but a very impressive dominating score of 193 points for knowledge admissions, 28 points for trivial operations. Don't worry though, trivial operations, you'll get another shot. There's always the redemption bracket, redemption bracket, where you'll get to play another match and fight your way back to the championship. Knowledge admissions, you'll continue on into the second round of the up top bracket. And we will see you there again. Thanks all for a great match today. I'll see you back again next time. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Good game, everybody.